Chapter 6. The story of Narasavadhanulu. On the next day, after completing Japam and Dhyanam, Tirumala Das said, Sir, Sripada Sri Vallabha is the source of all this creation, movable and immovable. He is like a banyan tree. His partial manifestations, Amshavataras, are like its hanging roots. The hanging roots, after coming down, enter the soil and appear independent. But their source is the banyan tree. He is the source and refuge of all, from gods and demons to all living beings. From him, all powers reach them, come back and merge in him again. For a person who reaches the peak of a mountain, all paths appear the same. Similarly, people of all traditions ultimately merge in Datta Tattvam. Every living being is surrounded by light. When I was living in Pithikapuram, one yogi came there. He could tell that the light around a particular deity was like this, and the light around a particular man was in this color and had spread up to a particular distance, etc. He came to Kukuteshwar temple and wanted to test how much of light was emanating from the deity of Swayambhudatta. Sripada Sri Vallabha gave darshan to him in Swayambhudatta. Around his head, white light resembling lightning was seen spreading vastly. Around that white light, blue color was seen spreading to all sides endlessly. That Murti addressed the yogi and said, My dear, you are wasting your valuable time in mad trials of knowing how far other subtle bodies have spread. First, you think of yourself. Death is waiting to engulf you. You think of attaining salvation. I am Datta, who is the source of all truths and philosophies. On the loving invitation of great Siddha Purushas, Mahayogis and great devotees, I manifested in Padagaya Kshetram in Kali Yugam. With this teaching of Swami, all the previous tendencies in that yogi perished. His power of knowing the light of others' subtle bodies merged in Sri Vallabha. Later, he had darshan of Sripada Sri Vallabha in his head and got blessed. That yogi said, the white light surrounding Sripada indicates that Sri Vallabha is an extremely pure and wholesome yoga avatar. The blue color indicates that he is full of love and grace. After the yogi left, an interesting discussion happened. How do we decide the varna of a particular person, whether by seeing the differences in the light of subtle bodies or by the caste and gotra in which he is born? The people of which varna are eligible for Vedokta, indicated in Vedas, and the people of which varna are eligible for Shastrokta, indicated in Shastras, means Puranokta or Upanayanam. What is meant by Upanayanam? Is it related to the third eye present between the eyebrows or anything special? What is the meaning of Medhajana, intellectuals? There were heated discussions on those lines. Pandits could not come to any common opinion. Malladi Bapanna Avadhanulu, who became famous as Satya Rishishwarulu, was the chairman of Brahmana Parishat in Pithikapuram. He is also often called Bappannaryulu. He would worship chiefly sun and fire god. He was invited to preside over a yagnam done in Pithikapuram. At the end of yagnam, it rained heavily. Everybody felt happy. Sri Vatsavayi Narasimhavarma, a Kshatriya, requested Sri Bappannavadhanulu to live in their village. He refused Sri Varma's offer. Sri Bappannaryulu would take only the Brahmin money offered in yagnas and yagas. If that money had no purity, he would not take it. Sri Varma had a black Kapila cow which was very dear to him. Its name was Gayatri. That cow used to give milk in plenty. It had a very gentle nature. At that time, Sri Varma got a message that Gayatri was not seen and was lost somewhere. As Sri Bappannarya was also an astrologer, Sri Varma questioned him about the cow. Sri Bappannaryulu said that the cow was with Khan Sahib, a butcher in Shamalambapuram, Samalkot, and if they did not go immediately, it would be killed. While sending a person to Shamalambapuram, Varma put down a condition. If Gayatri was traced according to what Bappannaryulu said, he should accept some land and a good house from Sri Varma as Pandit gift. Bapanarya was in a dilemma. If he did not take the offer, Varma would let the cow killed by the butcher. Then he would get the sin of killing a cow. He thought that it was better to accept Pandit gift rather than acquiring Gohatya, killing a cow sin. Gayatri was saved. The people of Petikapuram became lucky. Sri Bapanna Avadhanulu became the owner of a land and he also got a house for living. Sri Bapannaryulu had a son Venkavadhanulu and a daughter named Sumati. She was named Sumati Maharani, Queen, because her horoscope showed all auspicious qualities and while walking, her pace reminded of a queen's walk. Sri Bapannarya's fame and reputation spread in all 10 directions in a short time. One Brahmin boy named Gandikota Appala Lakshmi Narasimha Raju Sharma came to Petikapuram from Aynavilli village in Godavari Mandalam. He was a Velanati Vaidika Brahmin and belonged to Bharadwaja Gotram and Apastamba Sudra. He had a deity called Kalagni Shamana Datta in his house. While worshipping, that deity would talk to Raju Sharma clearly and give instructions. Appala Raju Sharma lost his parents in childhood itself. One day, while worshipping Kalagni Shamana, he gave instruction to Raju Sharma to go to Petikapuram and complete his education from Malladi Bappannaryulu, who was a Velanti Vaidik Brahmin and an Apastamba Sutra and belonged to Haritasa Gotram. Then he came to Petikapuram. Sri Bapannarya did not allow Raju Sharma, who came to him on the instruction of Datta, to go for food to different houses. He arranged food for him at his house only. Sri Bapannaryulu used to worship Shiva at the time of Shani Pradosha, time of evening Sandhya on Saturdays. At the same time, the women in his house would do vratha, religious vows related to Lord Shiva. In ancient times, Nanda and Yashoda did Shiva worship on Shani Pradosha time and had the fortune of rearing Sri Krishna. Along with Sri Bapannaryulu, Sri Narasimha Varma, Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti and some other important Vaishyas used to participate in Shiva Aradhana. The voice that came from Sri Kukkuteshwar Shivalingam, the marriage of Sumati and Appala Raju. Once, after Shiva Aradhana at Shani Pradosha time, lightning started emanating from Sri Kukkuteshwara Shivalingam. One majestic voice was heard. My dear Bapannarya, without any hesitation, you perform the marriage of your daughter Sumati Maharani with Appala Raju Sharma. World welfare will be accomplished. This is the decision of Datta Prabhu. None has the right in this movable and immovable creation to transgress this great decision. The voice was also heard by Venkatappaya Shreshti, Narasimha Varma and all those present there. Everybody was surprised. Messages were sent to Raju Sharma's cousins and relatives in Aynavilli. The marriage of Raju Sharma with Sumati Maharani was confirmed. It was a pity that Raju Sharma was not having at least a house. Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti said that he had many houses and would give one to Raju Sharma. Raju Sharma was not agreeing to take donation. Shreshti talked to Raju Sharma's relatives and valued his part from ancestral house in Aynavilli. It was decided as 1 Varaha, the value of 4 rupees. Sri Shreshti's house was worth 12 Varahas. Raju Sharma said that he did not have the remaining 11 Varahas to pay for the house. Then Shreshti said that he would sell the house for 1 Varaha only. He said, if you have an objection to take it as donation, you buy it paying 1 Varaha only. Everyone agreed that what Shreshti said was in accordance with Dharma only. The marriage of Sumati Maharani and Appala Raju Sharma was performed grandly amidst auspicious sounds of musical instruments, Veda chanting by great Pandits. Sripada Sri Vallabha's avatar had come to remove the darkness of Ajnana, spiritual ignorance. It came to remove the lameness of Jivas in their progression spiritually and physically. So, Sri Datta Prabhu ordered the goddesses of time, Kala, and action, Karma. In accordance with his order, Raju Sharma had a blind child representing the darkness of Ajnana and another lame child representing the lameness in worldly and unworldly progress. Sumati and Raju Sharma were very much grieved for having such children. There was a famous temple of Vigneshwara in Ayanavilli. Once, their relatives brought Vigneshwara's Mahaprasadam to Peethikapuram. Sumati and Raju Sharma ate that prasad. On that night, Sumati Maharani had darshan of Airavatam, the elephant of Indra, in a dream. In subsequent days, the Kunj, disc, chakram, club, gada, lotus, trishul, different gods, rishis, siddhas, yogis started giving darshan in her dreams. After some days, divine darshan started happening in wakeful state itself. On closing eyes, yogis in samadhi, munis, etc. with divine glows and different lights were giving darshan like figures on a screen. Sumati Maharani consulted her father Bappanaryalu on this matter. He said, all these things are indicating the birth of a great person, Mahapurusha, having all auspicious qualities. Sridhara Vadhanulu, the maternal uncle of Sumati Maharani, said, Amma, Sumati, there is relation between Vishaka, the birth star of Ravi, and Sri Ram Avatar. Similarly, there is a relation between Kritik, the birth star of moon, and Sri Krishna Avatar. There is a relation between Angaraka, Mars, born in Purvashada star, and the avatar of Sri Lakshmi Narasimha. There is a relation between Buddha, Mercury born in Shravana star, and the avatar of Buddha. There is a relation between Guru, Jupiter born in Purva Phalguni star, and Amsha of Vishnu. There is a relation between Shukra, Venus born in Pushyami star, and Bhargavarama. There is a relation between Shani, Saturn born in Revati star, and Kurma avatar. There is relation between Rahu, born in Bharani star, and Varaha avatar. There is a relation between Ketu, born in Ashlesha star, and Matsya avatar. The time you questioned me was a time of divine secrecy. I presume that Datta Prabhu, who controls the existence and fate of crores and crores of planets, stars, and Brahmandas, universes, may himself be born. Datta Prabhu's grand opulence. Sumati Maharani told this to Raju Sharma. Raju Sharma said that he would ask Kalagni Shamana Datta himself during worship. While he was worshipping Kalagni Shamana, no other person should see. At the end of worship, Datta would come in human form and talk sitting in front of him. Later he would merge into the idol. This would happen daily. Raju Sharma would not present small things and personal problems to Datta. On that day, Datta looked pleased during worship. At the end of worship, Datta stood in front of him. He called, Sridhara, come. One form came out of the Datta and sat in dhyana in front of him. Again, he indicated his finger and called, Sridhara, come. Immediately, that form merged in Datta. All this surprised Raju Sharma. Sri Datta Prabhu told Raju Sharma, the form you saw now is my partial manifestation that will come in coming centuries. The Jivan Muktas, the liberated souls who merge in me, also should come out immediately when I call. If I order to go, immediately they have to go behind the scenes. My playful opulence is not limited only to earth. All these Brahmandas, universes are playing balls in my head. If I kick one with my leg, they should fall at a distance of crores and crores of yojanas, measure of distance equaling 9 miles. I am beyond births and deaths. Saying so, he touched Raju Sharma's forehead between the eyebrows. Immediately, Raju Sharma remembered that he was born as Vishnu Datta in one yuga and his wife was born as Somadevamma, also called Sushila. He remembered all the past. Sri Datta said, when I gave darshan as Datta in that yugam, I told you to ask for any boon. You could not ask for the right boon. You called me to come for partaking food on the day of ceremony of your ancestors. I came with Sun and Agni and took the food and gave permanent residence status to your ancestors in Brahmalokam. I decided to take avatar as Shripada Srivallabha. I have been giving darshan to yogis and great people as Shripada Srivallabha for the last 100 years on this earth. In Treta Yugam, Bharadwaja Maharshi did Savitrukataka Chayanam in Pitikapuram. At that time, the ashes from the homam collected like huge mountains. Hanumanta carried the pieces of those mountains to Swarga, Martya and Patala Lokas. In Martya Loka, the ash was sprinkled in Dronagiri region of Himalayas and some other places. While Hanumanta was carrying the parts of mountains, one small part fell in Gandharvanagaram, Ganugapuram. Gandharvanagaram is a sacred place at the confluence of Bhima and Amaraja rivers. After hiding the Shripada Srivallabha avatar, I will be born as Nrusimha Saraswati in Meena Amsha and Meena Lagna and show many leelas in Gandharvanagaram. Then I will be in Tapasamadhi for 300 years in Kadalivanam of Sri Shailam and then live in Pragnapuram, Akkalkot with the name of Swami Samardha. I will leave the body when Shani enters Meena, Pisces Rashi. Raju Sharma told these words spoken by Datta Prabhu to his wife. Bapannaryalu, the Satya Rishishwar, said, "My dear Raju Sharma, you are a meritorious person who gave the Shraddha Bhojan to Sri Datta, Agni and Sun in your birth in previous Yugam. In this birth, Datta can ask you in any form to give food. You can give him food without any objections, even if it is the day of ancestors' ceremony and even before the bhoktas take their food. Amma, Sumati, you also remember these things. My dear Shankar Bhatt, Datta Prabhu's leelas are unprecedented, unthinkable and unheard of before. The manifestation of Shripada Srivallabha. On Mahalaya Amavasya day, Raju Sharma was looking after the arrangements for ceremony related to ancestors. Then, on the road in front of the gate, a voice was heard, "Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi." Sumati Maharani gave Bhiksha to Avadhuta standing there. The Avadhuta told Sumati to ask for a boon. Sumati said, "Sir, you are an Avadhuta. Your words will become true. Elders are saying that the manifestation of Shripada Srivallabha will be attracted to this earth shortly." In what form Sri Datta Prabhu is moving now? It is said that for the last 100 years, Sri Datta Prabhu is roaming on earth in the form of Shripada Srivallabha. You told me to ask for a boon. I want to see the form of Shripada Srivallabha. Hearing these words, the Avadhuta made a big roaring laughter. Sumati Maharani felt that the whole universe around her disappeared in a moment. In front of her, a 16-year-old pretty boy in Yati form manifested and said, "Mother, I myself am Shripada Srivallabha. I myself am Datta. When I was in Avadhuta form, you asked me to show Srivallabha form. To fulfill your desire, I am giving you darshan as Shripada Srivallabha. When I am in this form, you can ask for any other desire. You gave me food. In return, I want to give a boon. In this world, people get the fruits of sins if they do sinful acts. They will get fruits of merit when they do good acts. If one does actions, karmas, without any desires, it is called akarma. This is a good act, not a bad one. For akarma, one should be given different fruit without merit or sin. It is under the control of God. Because Arjuna did akarma, Shri Krishna asked him to kill Kauravas. He would not get sin for such killings. The killing of Kauravas was God's decision. You and your husband did plenty of akarma, so something has to be given to you for the purpose of world welfare. Without hesitation, you reveal your desire. I will definitely oblige." The desire of Sumati Maharani after seeing Datta in the form of Shripada Srivallabha. Seeing that divine auspicious form, Sumati Maharani fell on his feet and paid obeisance. Shripada Srivallabha lifted her and said, "Amma, it is an improper thing for the mother to fall on the feet of her son. That would result in reduction of the child's lifespan." Sumati said, "Shripada Srivallabha Prabhu, you call me Amma? So you agreed that I was the mother and you were my child. Yours is a Siddha Vak, so make that word true. You should take birth as my child." Then Sri Charana said, "Let it be so. I will take birth in you in the same form as I am giving darshan to you. Falling of mother at the feet of the child reduces the child's lifespan. I will not go against the rules of dharma karma. So I will live as your child for 16 years. Then Sumati wailed, "Oh, what an untoward thing has happened. Will you have only 16 years lifespan?" Then Sri Charana said, "Amma, I will follow what you say for 16 years as your son. Varshe shodashe prapthe putram mitravadacharet." One should treat a son like a friend when he becomes 16 years old. One should not put conditions. One should not force him to marry. You should give permission for me to become a yati and roam freely. If you force me against my wishes, I will not stay in your house. Saying so, he quickly walked away immediately. Sumati Maharani remained quiet for some time as she could not speak. She told her husband what all happened. Appala Raju Sharma said, "Sumati, don't worry. Your father already indicated before that Sri Datta would come to our house for bhiksha. Sri Datta is an ocean of grace. Let the birth of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha take place. Later we can think." The word spread in the whole town that an Avadhuta came to the house of Appala Raju. Discussions were going on that on the day of Mahalaya Amavasya, the most important day for ancestor gods, they gave bhiksha to an Avadhuta before the Brahmins took food. Bapannaryalu, we already know that the birth of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha is going to take place. It is absolutely proper to pay obeisance by falling on the ground, Shashtanga Pranam. So there was no fault on the part of Sumati. When born as a son, one should not do Shashtanga Pranam, but when he is in the form of an Avadhuta, it is not a wrong thing. In this context, the Brahmin community of Petikapuram became jealous. Narasavadhanulu was particularly jealous. On the day of Amavasya, all would be immersed in doing ancestor rites. So it became difficult to get bhoktas, Brahmins who come for taking food. Sri Bapannaryalu said that in Appala Raju Sharma's house there would not be any problem. Sri Raju Sharma remained in dhyana of Kalagni Shamana. Meanwhile, 3 guests came to be bhoktas. The ancestral rites went on without any hindrance. My dear Shankar Bhatt, one day there was a topic which became the main point of discussion. That is whether Vaishyas have got the right for Vedokta Upanayanam or not. The Brahmana Parishad assembled. One Pandit by name Ashutosh came to Padagaya Kshetram from Navadvip in Bengal. He had with him very ancient Nadi Granthas. He was also invited to the Brahmana Parishad. Sri Bapannarya said, "Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are equal in following rules and austerities. So Vedokta Upanayanam is in accordance with Dharma only. If any of the lower caste people want Upanayanam, it can be done in accordance with Puranas, Puranokta Upanayanam. To get Gnana Siddhi, the caste, gender and age should not become an obstacle. There are Vaishyas in Siddha Munis. A Vaishya Maharshi named Labadha Maharshi became a Siddha by the grace of Datta. If Labdha's grace is there, one will get profits in all things they do." The sort of decision hurt Narasavadhanulu, who was a skillful person in argument. He used to do Aradhana of Bhagalamukhi. He would worship that deity every day. Before arguing, he would wash his face and repeat the mantra of Bhagalamukhi. Then he would come for arguments. At that time, it would be impossible to defeat him. Sri Bapannaryalu had the merit of repeating Gayatri Mantra many crores of times. They both never came face to face in friction-ridden arguments. Narasavadhanulu washed his face and chanted mantra. Sri Pada Sri Vallabha was very close to his maternal grandfather from a very small age. So, he also used to accompany him to the meetings of Brahmana Parishad. Nobody would obstruct that small cute boy. On that day, Narasavadhanulu did not like Sri Vallabha to be in the meeting. He thought it was wrong for a boy to come to the meeting of great Pandits. Before starting arguments, after chanting Bhagala Mantram, he asked Sri Pada why he came. Sri Pada said, "Tata, I have not come without asking. I came because I was called as per the protocol. If you ask me to go, I will go. I do not care. I am a small boy and a free person. Narasavadhanulu roaringly told Sripada to go. Sri Raju Sharma took his son and went away. Narasavadhanulu was about to talk. He was unable to speak. No word came out of his mouth in spite of repeated movements of the mouth. Seeing all that, Ashutosh smiled with joy. In the meeting, Sri Bapannarulu's word ruled. Vedokta Upanayanam was decided for Vaishyas. There was a discussion on the Nadi Granthas present with Ashutosh. In that Nadi Grantha, it was indicated that Sripada Sri Vallabha's birth should be decided according to the calculations mentioned in Sandra Sindhu Vedam. So it was decided that Sripada was born on Ganesh Chaturthi in the early morning in Simha Lagna in Chitta Nakshatram star in the constellation of Tula, Libra. It was also told that Sripada was a manifestation of Sri Datta. As his feet contain all auspicious qualities, the name Sripada Sri Vallabha was most appropriate for him. His Janma Kundalini chart should not be given to anyone, and it will come to Petikapuram in the course of time from the descendants of a Jain called Akshay Kumar in Tripura. It was also said that all that would happen according to divine Leela. Ashutosh went to Sripada Sri Vallabha's house for his darshan. Today is Chitta Nakshatram. I will be pleased if someone worships me on that day of my birth star Chitta. You came with spotless devotion, so I will grace you. You can ask anything you want. Ashutosh said, Prabhu, I heard that Narasavadhanulu was a worshipper of Bhagalamukhi. I thought that I would have darshan of Ambika surrendering to him. My effort became a waste. I could gather that Ambika was unhappy with him. Sripada said, I myself am the Ambika whom he worships. When he asked me to go, Ambika, so for clinging to his subtle body, merged in me. I am the embodiment of all gods and goddesses. Get the fortune of Ambika darshan. Then Sripada gave darshan to Ashutosh as Bhagalambika. Ashutosh was very much pleased and on the instruction of Sri Charana left for Penchalakona in Nellore district forest to the Tapobhumi, place of penance of Kanva Maharshi. He also said that he would manifest again in Vajasaneya branch of Kanva Maharshi in Maharashtra and would grace him at that time by taking him as one of his chief disciples. He said, You will see my wonderful Leelas at that time. Now you start immediately. The wonderful sight seen at the time of Sripada's birth. I said, Sir, please tell me some more Leelas of Sripada which you saw and make me blessed. Then Tirumala Das said, Shankar Bhatt, Narasavadhanulu, who was angry with Bapannarya. Somehow he decided to insult him. He thought that Bapannarya was the cause of Bhagalmukhi's disfavor on him. He spread rumors that Bapannarya annulled his mantra siddhi by doing some tantric action. He was more pained by the content in Nadi Grantha about Sripada Sri Vallabha's avatar. He started arguing that the Nadi Granthas were not believable and it was improper on the part of Bapannaryalu to give food to the Bengali Brahmin who would eat fish. He also argued that a man could never become an avatar of Purna Brahma, the Absolute, and the small boy Sripada could not be Datta Prabhu, who was omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. Sripada was uttering Omkaram from infancy, and he would do discussion on Shastras in Sanskrit language even when he was in cradle as a small child, and he had shown extraordinary intelligence far beyond his age. Narasavadhanulu used to spread rumors that a Brahmin Vedic Pandit having no physical body had possessed his body and was talking through him. He was also telling that the Swayambhu Datta in Kukuteshwar temple was the real benefactor and it was wrong to think that the boy was the embodiment of Datta. When Sripada Sri Vallabha was born, one three-headed cobra used to give shade under its raised hood wherever he was placed. He came out of mother's womb in the form of Jyoti. Sumati Maharani fell unconscious the next moment. From the delivery room, auspicious melodious music was being heard. After some time, one unseen voice cautioned that everybody should leave that room. The 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas and Mahapuranas came to Shripada in the form of Jyotis. The sacred Vedic mantras were being heard by those staying outside. After some time, silence ruled. Even Bapannarya also felt these wonderful things not comprehensible and confusing. Shripada's childhood Leelas. 1 year passed after Shripada's birth. He used to attend the meetings of Pandit Parishad with his grandfather Shri Bapannaryulu even when he was a month's boy. Even when he was a boy of a few months, he used to walk freely, give discourses on Shastras and do wonderful Leelas. The people of Pitikapuram were thinking that some great Pandit after death entered this boy and was doing such things. Bapannaryulu and Raju Sharma, instead of giving medical treatment, were thinking him wrongly as Dattavataram, and this was not an acceptable thing. This type of argument was gaining strength because Pitikapuram was also a Padagaya Kshetram and so the principal Kshetram for ancestor gods, and there were tantric people present in Pitikapuram who could talk to Vigatatmas, Atmas who left the gross body. Because I came from Malyadipuram, I was washing the clothes in the houses of Shri Bapannaryulu and Shri Raju Sharma. The washerman who used to wash clothes from Narasavadhanulu's house became old and died. He had only one son who migrated to Vayasapura Agraharam, Kakinada, also known as Kokanadam. So I was appointed to wash clothes of Narasavadhanulu's household. As I was attached to Bapannarya family from childhood, I had changed to some extent as a person having auspicious will. Spiritual light started glowing in me. I did not wash Narasavadhanulu's clothes directly and told my elder son Ravidas to wash them. Whenever I saw Narasavadhanulu, I used to feel nausea in my stomach and could not eat food on that day. I was able to wash clothes only from families having auspicious will. The divine grace of Shripada on Tirumala Das. Ravi Das is my eldest son through my first wife. I was not washing the clothes of Narasavadhanulu and was getting them washed by Ravi Das. Narasavadhanulu somehow came to know about this. He ordered me to wash the clothes myself. Elder's orders must be obeyed. I washed his clothes, remembering the name of Shripada. Ravi Das took them to their house. Strangely, nothing happened to other members of his family. But Narasavadhanulu felt as if scorpions and centipedes were crawling all over the body when he wore those clothes. He felt as if his body was kept on fire. It was like an Agni Varsham and not an ordinary one. Narasavadhanulu for me. He told me that I infused some mantra shakti into the clothes by some Kshudra Vidya, and for that I should face the punishment. The matter was brought to judicial officer. The judicial officer decided that I was innocent. My dear Shankar Bhatt, Shripada's Leelas are unthinkable. After some time, when I came home from judicial officer, Sri Charana came to my house as a 16-year young boy. Even from the time of birth, Shripada was giving darshan to devotees in the age he liked. People who were acquainted with Sri Charana's Leelas knew it, and it appeared as most natural to them. I was surprised and said, "Sir, you are born in a highest Brahmin family. It is not proper to come to this area where washermen live." Shripada said, "Who do you think Narasavadhanulu is? He is a washerman doing the journey of life, wearing a big bundle of sins on his head. You are a high caste Brahmin aspiring for Brahmagnana, though born as a washerman. So it is not improper for me to come here." Then I fell at the feet of Sri Charana and wept inconsolably. Sri Charana, looking with nectarine eyes, lifted me with his divine hands. He put his divine hands on me. Then I remembered all of my previous births. The yogic powers in me got activated. The Kundalini power woke up. Shripada slowly walked away and disappeared. Narasavadhanulu used to grow Totakura, amaranthus, in his house. The totakura grown in his house was famous as most tasteful. He used to give that totakura only a person from whom there would be special returns. Sripada asked his mother to cook totakura and it should be brought from the house of Narasavadhanulu. It appeared that it was an impossible task. Grandfather Sri Bapannaryulu said, "My dear Sripada, tomorrow morning I will take you to his house. You yourself should ask Narasavadhanulu Tata to give some totakura. In case he does not give, you should not insist on it." Sripada agreed. In the next morning, Bapannarya carried Sripada and was coming to Narasavadhanulu's house. He told Sripada that children should respect elders and ask for their blessings. Sripada said all right. Narasavadhanulu, who was on the veranda of his house, he used to have a long sikha, a tuft of hair projecting from the region of vertex on the head, normally had by Brahmins. At that time, one barber came and was getting ready to shave him. Sripada, sitting on the shoulders of his grandfather, looked at Narasavadhanulu and joined his hands in reverence. Narasavadhanulu stunned for this sudden incident. Sripada's sharp looks fell on the sikha of Narasavadhanulu. Automatically, the sikha of Narasavadhanulu fell down. He was confused and not able to understand how his sikha fell down. Then Sri Charana told his grandfather, "Tata, Narasanna Tata's sikha fell on its own. If I ask now for totakura, which is most dear to him, it will not be proper. Already he is in grief. Why should I give him more pain now? Let us go to our house." After that, Sripada never asked for totakura again. Narasavadhanulu came to know the deceit in the incident when Sripada folded his hands in reverence to him. When he sat in dhyana, one glowing person exactly resembling him came out of him. Narasavadhanulu asked him who he was and where he was going. Then that person said, "I am the merit in you. You studied Vedas many times so far. You worshipped Swayambhu Datta. When the same Dattatreya manifested as Sri Vallabha, you insulted him. You have great love and affection for your sikha and for totakura. If you had shown a 1 in lakh part of it on Sri Vallabha, your janma would have been fulfilled. Liberation is nothing but removing passion. You are bound by the rope of moham, passion. You will soon get the poverty face." To prevent it only, Sripada asked for the donation of totakura, Shakadanam. If you had given totakura to him, not only your poverty face would have been eliminated, but you would have been granted wealth. You lost such an opportunity with your own hands. Even then, Sripada is an ocean of grace. He will hide his avatar and take a new avatar. At that time, you will be born as a poor Brahmin. Then also you will grow totakura in your house. When the proper time comes, your merit present in my form will enter into your body again. Then Sri Charana will come to your house, eat the totakura cooked and served by you affectionately, and will grant you wealth." Sripada did not salute you. He ordered me, the merit in you, to enter him. So, for the time being, I am leaving you. By receiving Sripada's salutation, you lost your merit. What remained in you is only a sinful person. Saying so, his merit merged in Sripada. From then onwards, Narasavadhanulu's life situation deteriorated. No one cared for his word. The previous glow in him disappeared. Cholera spread in Petikapuram. Many people were dying. The doctors came to the conclusion that bacteria were spreading because of water contamination and the disease was spreading like a communicable disease. The people were frightened and prayed Bapannarya to protect them from cholera, to find out ways indicated in Shastras in the interest of people and take appropriate measures immediately. Sri Bapannaryulu looked with his inner eye and found that it was not due to water contamination but contamination in air. The doctors curtly said that what Sri Bapannaryulu was telling was against the things written in medical books and hence not acceptable. People were doing different types of worships and giving different types of animal sacrifices to the village deity. While killing an animal, the life forces get liberated from the body forcibly. Due to the chanting of mantras, the life force will come under the influence of the person giving bali, sacrifice. Bapanariyulu said that there were many yogic practices to improve the prana shakti, life force, and there were many generous ways of worship without resorting to killing animals to appease the village deity. Even then, people were not stopping animal sacrifices. Some people who had staunch faith in Shripada Sri Vallabha and belief in his divine leelas asked Sri Charana in this regard. Then Sri Charana said, I told the village deity not to ask for animal sacrifices. The village goddess went to take bath in the sea on my order. The Raksha Kalika form will be pacified if Pala Pongallu, a preparation made with rice, milk and sugar, are offered. You call a leather man to make dandora, announcement with beating of leather drum about this in this village and surrounding villages. When asked who should be sent to make dandora, Shripada told them to entrust it to Venkaya, who was affected by cholera, as his word. The believers of Sri Vallabha went to Venkaya. He was on the deathbed. When he was told about Sri Charana's orders, he fell unconscious. After 1 hour, he became conscious with complete health. This news created discussions in many ways. Venkaya did the dandora. Sri Bapanariyulu asked for a big vessel with water to be kept in front of him. He chanted appropriate mantras to kill the poisonous bacteria. These poisonous bacteria came from air, making noise and fell in the water-filled vessel. The pollution in the air was cleared. Cholera left Pitikapuram. On the day of Ganesh Chaturthi, which was also the birthday of Shripada, Raju Sharma, along with his wife, took Sri Charana to Bapanarya's house. Whenever Sri Bapanarya tried to see the lotus feet of Sri Vallabha to observe the auspicious qualities, he would only see sparkling lights. He could not see the auspicious qualities of Sri Mahavishnu. This was surprising to him. On that day, in the early morning, Bapanarya saw the divine footprints on the rice husk. He called his daughter Sumati and asked, Amma, who has gone this way? Sumati replied, Who else? It is your dear grandson. The footprints seemed to be those of a 16-year-old boy. The grandfather took Sri Vallabha into his lap and observed his Sri Charanas. He did not see the sparkling lights this time as before. Clearly, he could see the auspicious qualities which indicated that he was an avatar of Dattatreya. He kissed Shripada's divine Sri Charanas. He confirmed that the boy was really Datta Prabhu. At that time, some words came out of Bapanarya's mouth without any effort. They need not have a binding of Chandasu, meter or grammatical propriety. Shripada wiped the tears flowing from grandfather's eyes. After some time, Shripada said, Tata, you did Shakti Patham, invoking of power from Surya Mandalam into Mallikarjuna Shivalingam in Sri Shailam. At the same time, power was attracted from Surya Mandalam into the Mahabaleshwar Lingam in Gokarnam and Swayambhu Datta in Padagaya Kshetram. I decided to make Gokarna Kshetram much more powerful. My wish is to absorb the untoward vibrations from Jivas into Mahabaleshwar Lingam, the Atma Linga of Parameshwar, and reach the auspicious vibrations to those who surrender to me. Similarly, I want to make powerful the Sri Shaila Mallikarjuna Lingam, which gives mukti, liberation, by mere darshan. You are a Satya Rishi. You decided that I could not have short life because my mother touched my feet when I was in Yati form. I said that I would have short life because mother touched my feet when I was in Shripada Sri Vallabha form. Without affecting the decisions of both of us, I want to stay in the house only up to 16 years. I have to grace people who desire liberation from the worldly bonds. As your desire is that I have to be a Chiranjeevi, having no death, I will fulfill it. This divine auspicious figure referred to as Shripada Sri Vallabha will be made invisible. Even if I manifest as Nrusimha Saraswati, this Sripada Sri Vallabha form will remain as truth forever. After manifesting as Nrusimha Saraswati, I will do tapas, penance in Kadalivanam in Sri Shailam for 300 years. Then I will come as Swami Samartha in Pranjapuram and infuse my life force into the banyan tree there and merge myself in Sri Shaila Mallikarjuna Shivalingam after leaving the gross body. It was all surprising and wonderful for Papannarya. Sripada's first birthday went on grandly in his grandfather's house on Ganesh Chaturthi day. Another strange thing happened on that day in Petikapuram. Some others went to Kukkuteshwara temple. The deity of Swayambhu Datta was not there. The word that the deity disappeared spread like wildfire in the whole village. One Tantrik, who was jealous of spread rumors that the disappearance of deity was the work of Narasavadhanulu, who did worship of Kshudra Vidyas, and he himself made it disappear. Then the Brahmin community of Petikapuram decided to search Thar's house. When asked on this, Papannaryalu said that the truth will be known in due course of time and that it was better to keep quiet for the time being and that he would speak when time came. When it was dug in Narasavadhanulu's house, some human skulls and other objects related to Kshudra Vidyas were found. Narasavadhanulu was innocent. He was branded as a Kshudra Vidya Upasaka. Day by day, his health was deteriorating. He had an old sterile cow in his house. It was treated as an ox and they were using it for agriculture-related works. Narasavadhanulu was not giving it sufficient fodder. The Tantrik infused one Kshudra Shakti into it. One day, it broke its teethers and became wild. It pierced the inmates with its horns and destroyed the crop of Totakura, which was very dear to its owner. No one could hold untie it. That day was the day of death of Narasavadhanulu's mother. Many eatables, including garelu, food item prepared with urad dal, were made. The cow ate away all the eatables. By that time, the bhoktas finished their food. But the housemaids did not yet eat. Sripada told his father Raju Sharma that they should go to Narasanna Tata's house immediately. Raju Sharma took Sripada and stood in front of Narasavadhanulu's house. The old cow came out of the house. Sripada asked his father to put him down. The cow circumambulated 3 times around Sripada, paid obeisance to his feet and died. The people of Petikapuram commented on this incident in different ways. The garelu prepared in Narasavadhanulu's house somehow got mixed with poison. The bhokta's luck saved them, but the cow died due to the poison and Narasavadhanulu would get the sin of killing a cow. As the cow circumambulated Sripada and died, they felt that Sri Charana was having an exemplary divine power in him. Raju Sharma had some knowledge in Ayurvedic medicine. He was doing treatment Narasavadhanulu on his request. Whenever Raju Sharma went to Narasavadhanulu's house, Sripada also went along with his father. Though Raju Sharma was a good physician, Narasavadhanulu's health did not improve but deteriorated. One day, Narasavadhanulu died. In Petikapuram, rumors, distorted explanations and methods of proving untruth to be truth and the truth to be untruth were many. Raju Sharma treated Narasavadhanulu with a good intention, but his effort did not give good result. Births and deaths are in the control of God. Some thought that Narasavadhanulu died because of application of Tantra by a Tantrik. Some others thought that because of rivalry, Raju Sharma did not treat him properly and he would have survived if he were treated by any other physician. Some others thought that it was unwise to think that Sripada Sri Vallabha was Datta incarnation. Narasavadhanulu died though Sripada was going to his house along with his father for treating him. So Sripada also was an ordinary boy. Some came to the conclusion that because the cow died due to poison and Narasavadhanulu died because of the sin of killing a cow, some more dead bodies from that house would have to go to the burial ground. To prevent the ill effects of killing a cow, Brahmins should be given liberal donations and they should donate a golden idol of cow to Brahmins. They should perform homam for peace for 40 days and all these 40 days the Brahmins should be fed. To do all those things, all the property of Narasavadhanulu would have to be sold. That was also like a thunderbolt for the inmates of the house. Narasavadhanulu's dead body was taken to burial ground. Raju Sharma, Shripada, Bapannaryulu and all consoled his family members. Narasavadhani's wife held the hands of Shripada and wept. My dear, I used to go to any distance for a little turmeric and kumkum. If you are Datta, is it impossible to bring your Narasanna Tata to life? Shripada, having nectarine heart, silently wiped her tears with his divine hands. The journey of dead body started. Raju Sharma, Shripada, Bapannarya all took part in the journey. Narasavadhanulu's eldest son was preparing to light the funeral pyre. 2 drops of tears flowed from Shripada's eyes. Shripada said with a roaring voice, "Oh, I saw son lighting the pyre for a dead father, but I did not so far see son lighting the pyre for a living father." Everybody was looking stunned. Shripada slowly touched the forehead between the eyebrows of Narasavadhanulu on the pyre with his thumb and again on his own forehead. Narasavadhanulu started moving. He came back to his house in a joyful journey along with all those who came in his dead body's journey. Because Shripada touched his forehead, he started understanding the subtle working of the rule of karma. He understood that the sterile cow he had in his house was his own mother and the old ox in his house was his father. Because both of them did not look after his grandfather and grandmother, they got this animal birth and did service to him. It appeared clearly to him that the old cow at the time of death requested Shripada to drink its milk, and Shripada gave assurance that in the next birth as sterile cow he would drink its milk. He also understood the things in subtle worlds, that the Tantrik who appeared Tantra on him would die soon and in his next birth would become a Brahma Rakshas and will get the grace of Sri Charana in sannyasi form. He also saw the future that Sri Charana ate food prepared with Totakura in his house, destroyed the Totakura with his own hands and granted him vessels filled with gold coins. Sri Charana's Leelas cannot be imitated by anyone else. One cannot see anything which can be compared to these Leelas. I will tell you the teaching given by Sri Vallabha to Narasavadhanulu and his wife and the way he graced them tomorrow. Today, let us remember Shripada Sri Vallabha and spend some time in bhajana. Sri Charana will move in subtle form where his name is being remembered. This is true in every letter. I became ecstatic with great happiness for meeting a good devotee like Tirumala Das. Victory to Shripada Sri Vallabha, Shripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye.